Coke Machine for Real Fishing. Welcome to the party. Here I am, live on Nipissing. So, I'm about to start fishing right now. Alright, so here's what's going to go down. On one line, which is going to be my dead stick, going with the classic minnow on a jig head, which was suggested to me by Corey. I've got a chartreuse / black jig head. I've got a variety of jig heads, and some of them are dressed with different kinds of feathers and stuff like that, but this one's just a bare jig head. And I'm gonna throw that right on the bottom there, and then put it on my trigger mechanism. So far, I've caught one perch out here so far. Dylan, the ice, I suspect the ice will be in better condition once it goes down to -14 tomorrow. Right now, there's slush in spots, okay? And then there's also a lot of the crusty stuff that was out there before is now not as crusty anymore, and you're falling through a little bit when you walk, unless you're on an established trail. So, but I know there was definitely some slush close to shore here. I'm just going to set up my trigger mechanism thing here. Whoops. All right. Well, I got set up easy. On the other side here, I am rocking a vibrato, big chartreuse glow one. One of my faves. Caught my first fish of the year on this guy. I'm gonna start big and then downsize. Go from there. So I got my fish finder over here. All right. So yeah, so far one perch came in and grabbed that big vibrato I have on there. You'd be surprised when those perch are hungry. T Bishop, thanks for coming out to the party. Ken, I think you're right. I think that ice is going to freeze back up. It's supposed to get pretty cold tonight. It's been pretty moist over the last few days, that's for sure. I've got some frostbite dinner bells in my pack here. I will be probably trying one out later on. I've been hearing a lot about slow fishing going on. And I'm hoping that's not going to be going on tonight. We'll see what happens, though. It was slow for me last week. Steve Wagner, the walkout was one of those walks where, you get comfortable walking, and then all of a sudden your foot falls through, 8 inches or so, and you sort of buckle your knee. That was the kind of walk I had out here. So it'd be every 50 yards or so, something like that would happen, and it wouldn't be that fun, but not terrible. It's not like it's horribly deep snow, but still, it gets a little frustrating. I got pretty used to the solid crust we had on out there. There's the door to the ice hut, in case you didn't know what you're looking at there. So I am in Ray's Ice Hut tonight again. You guys may recall when I was in Ray's Ice Hut last time, we caught some fish, hoping for the same. I was in a different hut last week, and we didn't catch any fish. So I'm gonna say Ray's got the lucky hut, or at least the hut that's better at this time of year. All right. Whoa. Sorry. A little bit loose on the thing here. Just gonna try to adjust my settings so that it's not so bright. For some reason it seems to be, the camera doesn't seem to like it this time at the brightness it's at, which is funny. It seems like every time I've had it at the same brightness and it's not been a problem, but this should be better. Hold on here. Let's see. There you go. That should be a little less than 10. So next week, I'm going with my brother up to a Temagami area lake. We're hoping to get into some lake trout and other deep water species. There's also some good walleye up there, so we'll see. But we're going to be camping out on the ice, which I was about to say that's something I've never done, but actually I think the first time my buddies and I went out on the ice and had our own gear, we actually slept out there on the ice, and it was good. I mean, I slept in a chair, so you can imagine that I had, some neck problems afterwards. So this time I'm going to be bringing a cot, and I'm hoping that's going to be comfortable. I know more, like other people seem to do this ice camping thing a little more and take it pretty seriously. I know my brother's got some sort of a wood stove set up in his hut, so we'll see if that cuts it. I kind of feel like it's going to run out of wood every 2 hours, and it's going to be a bit of a nuisance, but we'll see. So I just got to put, my windscreen fell off my microphone here, so I'm just going to put it back on. It sounds funny, that's why. Alright. Alright, we're back in the game. So, I got the heater on in here, so it's pretty toasty. Mohammed, I definitely, as far as the snowmobile is concerned, I'm sure it's not as bad as it could be, because I've seen some really bad slush conditions. I only encountered slush right near the shore, so I'm gonna say it's not horrible for snowmobilers, but I don't know about different parts of the lake and what it's like out there. So that's a thing, It would be awesome if people sent me updates from around the lake if they're encountering slush and stuff like that, but I don't often hear from too many people at this time of year. There was a guy who told me on Kinsman Beach there was a pretty big slush pile, and that was before the rain, so I'm gonna say there's some serious problems out that way. So I'm just Steve, what's up? Fishing's up. How deep is the water? The water here is 18 feet deep. Huh. Nick Bruce, you're talking about the dinner bells, is that right? Sorry, just going back through the messages here. Oh yeah, you are. Yeah, I've heard lots of great things about the dinner bells. Like every year, I hear about them selling out. So I bought a whack of them, and then I see now that Billy Bob's Bait's got a whole wall of them. What size of dinner bell were you using when you caught your personal best gator there, Nick? Well, I am in a different hut than I was last week as far as performing an exorcism is concerned. It seems to me that most people in this area are experiencing a lull that goes with this time of year. I feel like it throughout the years, it's been sort of the same kind of thing. Fishing slows down, and then the end of the season is usually pretty happening. Thanks, Joshua. This fish finder has been quite useful to me. I do enjoy it. Definitely gets the job done. Species 8472, welcome to the game. You'll be happy to know that I finally got the notification that my drone is in the mail. So you guys can expect some drone footage coming up soon. I'm not sure how long it's going to take to get to me. I also am not sure how long it's going to take me to figure out how to use it right. But I'm looking forward to giving it a zip. What's up, Russell? David Johnson, how's it going? Yeah, I've heard somebody, I think it was John White, that other guy who's a YouTuber. He's also on TikTok there. He did a little video of the water dumping into Lake Simcoe from the surface. Looks and sounded pretty messy to me. You know, there was one guy I fished with once there, or a couple times, Cranman, when I was there to witness Fish Chaser 67 catch the biggest walleye I've seen personally. He had some kind of a spoon, similar shape to the dinner bells, but it wasn't a dinner bell. And their preferred way of fishing was to use scissors to snip the head off of a minnow. And then they would use that to bait their spoon. And so the head and like a little bit of the body was like wiggling around. It was a little wild to look at, to be honest with you. Jerry Mullins, I'm glad to hear that you like the ice camping as well. Any hot tips? I know I've done a lot of camping in cold conditions, and I can tell you that having 2 sleeping bags is great. Sleeping in a thermal pair of snow pants works nice too. I mean, with the sleeping bag, just sometimes you end up with all the stuff you can possibly wear on you just to get through the night. Yeah, I always find the heater in the pop-up tents, you know, it often creates that little pond right in front of it. Sometimes the pond's so deep you can put fish in it. Other times it definitely causes you problems in regards to getting your tent frozen in. I'm gonna switch lures right now. Jerry Mullins, what are you fishing for in Little Bay de Noc there? What am I going to throw? All right, here's what I'm going to throw. This guy. The Acme Flyer. You see, it's got those wings. Sort of like a jig and wrap, except the wings. The wings make it unique, right? And it glows too. I had my underwater camera out earlier, and I can tell you that it was looking pretty good, but as soon as the sun started going down, can't see anything. So as you guys will recall, there's a dead stick with a live minnow on it to my left. So I'm going to try this guy, this flyer out. You know, I've done some fishing for lake trout in the Muskoka region there, Lake Rosso. And some years you'd be having a blast, lots of fish. And some years you're just like, ugh. I mean, that's fishing, right? Some years you catch, some years you don't catch that many. Ooh. Oh, here we go. What do I got? Ooh. Nice jumbo. Yeah, that's the eater. That's an eater there. All right, so the Acme Flyer did it. Okay. Hold tight, fish. I'll get you off the hook. How about that? All right. So my general goal in life is to avoid getting hooked. All right. So, let's make sure we get a good shot of that guy. That's a beauty Nipissing. I give it about 10 inches. It's not the biggest jumbo I've ever seen in my life, but that's definitely a beauty and will be fit for the pan. All right, let's see if that lure catches some more. That fish definitely went after that pretty aggressively. This is another one of these lures that you get and you're not really too sure if it's any good. And then you'll have some banger day with it and you'll be like, oh, this is now my new favorite lure ever. So maybe that's what's going to happen right now. Let's see. Definitely didn't just take a nibble at that. He definitely swallowed it pretty good. Huh. I feel like another fish came and took a real close look at that. Sorry, my thing got a little tangled up in my... All right. If you catch 5 of those jumbos like that, probably even 4 is good enough to feed a family. You know, I know the limit is really high, but I don't think when they're nice big guys like that, you don't really need a whack of them. So I'm just gonna go through some messages here. I'm sure I missed a bunch. Yeah, I've never flown one of these drones before. Species 8472. I've seen them flown. My neighbor Terry, I don't think he has a drone, but I think somebody related to him in some way has been flying a drone around. I think I actually came across some shots on Instagram, and I was like, that's my house. That's Terry's house. From the drone perspective, Yeah, I was thinking about the idea of the meet and greet and when and where that would be the best to do it. I was thinking Calendar Bay would be a good spot. Yikes. Some people, David, make fishing for whitefish on Simcoe look so easy. But, I guess, again, fishing, sometimes you're just not going to get anything. Medium bullseye, eh? I think I got a variety of different colors. It seems to me, Russell Lamb, that this glider style lure, I think it just has like a bit of a wider flight pattern, if you will, or swim pattern, I guess you would say, than like a regular jigging wrap, because it's got those wings. So I guess it goes around. Frank, the conditions are as follows. The surface of the lake that was once crusty is now a little bit soft, and you fall through that crust into the softer snow below. There's slush patches close to shore, but I didn't encounter that much slush on my way out here. But basically, a lot of the crust is still there, but it's a little soft in places. So it's not as firm as it was, but there's definitely no soft snow on top. So yeah, every 50 paces or so you fall through for a little bit if you're walking. Or at least for me, I was walking about 1 kilometer out here, and you sort of end up, tripping up a little bit. But mostly, so far what I saw was slush free, but I can't guarantee you at different parts of the lake where there's different conditions that slush might be a more major factor. Yeah, if you guys want to hit the like button out there, that's always appreciated. Yeah, what are the requirements to get into Canada these days, Jerry? As I recall, last year it was a no-go for sure. I assume there's vaccine passports or any stuff like that. Ethan, I assume you've gone to Fish Bay Marina before. I've heard a lot of good things. Yeah, there's definitely going to be a heavy freeze going on tonight. I'm going to see if my son wants to go fishing tomorrow. We'll see. Well, I'm glad that toque got your way there, Ethan. I'm sure you appreciate the fact that I had it in a vacuum sealed bag for freshness. Billy Bob's Baits, eh? I don't want to flood that place. That's this Sunday, isn't it? See, the one thing with Sundays is it's essentially directly after my night shifts, and 9 a.m. isn't a bad time actually. I would still be awake till 10:30 or so. See, here's what I envisioned when I was thinking of the meet and greet. I was thinking I would show up on a Saturday at Calendar Bay when there was going to be lots of people around, and set up a lawn chair with a hole in the ice, obviously, and I was going to sit in that chair and fish and live stream, and then people who stopped by to get a hat would I would give them a real quick interview on the live stream. I don't know if that's the kind of thing people would be down with, but of course the season is quickly coming to an end, so I'd have to do that sooner rather than later. Corey, there was a bit of slush out here closer to shore, but not so much further out. Okay. Well, that's good to hear that Fish Bay Marina is a good spot to go. I don't know if I've been in direct contact with them. No, I have. Sorry, Fish Bay Marina, if you're paying attention to this. They asked me a bunch of questions last year about getting masks made, I think. Just because I run the small business with the t-shirts and stuff like that. So I've got places that I have stuff manufactured. Yeah, how did you like fishing Bay of Quinte there, Jerry? I see all these pictures of giant wallies there, and I'm always pretty impressed. Temagami, the last time I went up there was a couple years ago. No, wait. Yeah, it was a couple years ago. At one time I went out and just walked out from a public access point and set up my big pop-up tent, and it was really bad with slush that year, like really bad. And then the other time I went with an outfitter, and I didn't catch. I think we caught a ling. That was it. So it looks like I'm just going to switch up my lures again. I've got a lineup of lures here ready to go. So I'm just going to try out some different ones. Right now, I'm going to throw down. I know some people were always telling me, sorry, I just think it looks kind of funny. The way I have to hunch over to look at the camera, my beard gets all kind of bunched up in front of me. Anyway, so this is a slab grabber. I've had this one for a couple years. It's worked well on pretty much everything. Perch like it. Walleyes like it. I've got pike on it, ling on it. So I'm going to fire that down. It's also one of those lures that I don't think I use all the time, but when it's come through when other lures haven't. So let's throw it down. I know a lot of people like that one for different things on Simcoe. I feel like, is it not called it's a slab grabber? It's not called a Simcoe slab grabber, is it? I know some people have used those a lot for the perch on Simcoe. I like the little glowing ball on it. It seems to give the fish something to look at. which I find especially with perch can be pretty handy. So I think it's just about time to turn on some lights in here. Give me a second. I brought some lights, so where did I put them? There we go. Whoa. Sorry, folks. All right. So we're going to do it like this. So you're going to get a weird flickering going on here because of the LED light I'm using. You know, it's like I like the summer. Don't get me wrong, okay? I enjoy camping and boating and canoeing. But every year when the ice goes, I get pretty bummed out about it. But there's lots of things that go on with summer that I don't get to do in the winter time. But I do just really like ice fishing. But I'm looking forward to going carp fishing in the summer. Got my birthday week, going down to Rice Lake. Catch some of those monster carp down there. Looking forward to that. But I'm looking forward to trying to fish as much as I can over the next bit. Lake Scugog, huh? Yeah, it was not, you weren't allowed to use it at all for fishing for a bit, for ice fishing, I think, right? £13.5. That's a juicy fish there, Jerry. When you were at Lake Heritage Lodge, Jerry, were you fishing primarily for walleye there, or did you try for some lake trout or anything? Ethan, I definitely find that those buckshot spoons are great. And yeah, I just a lot of times put a minnow on there, and I think especially when you attach a minnow to a rattly bait like that, is that it as the minnow moves, it like rattles the bead inside just a little bit, which I think, you know, enhances it as a dead stick line. Yeah, I mean, in the summertime, when Nipissing is calm, I go out there on the canoe and fish along the shore here. And the fishing can be good, and it can be not so good. But there's been some really great times out there, let me tell you. Definitely when the bass come in, it can get pretty wild out there. But of course, you got to wait for a day when it's not crazy windy. And that's not always easy to find. It's like the day you realize that it's not all wavy and stuff like that, you drop everything you have and get into the canoe and start fishing. And in the spring, definitely the walleye are here along the shore. And then, like as the spring turns into summer, you get lots of bass. Then last year it was drum. Got a bunch of drum last year. I love those drum. Catch those drum all day. Yeah, on Temagami, my brother and my dad and I, in the summertime, did half decently trolling for lake trout on with downriggers. It's funny because I fish for lake trout a lot in the summer without downriggers, just huge, heavy jigs. You basically just, set up with the wind, let your line, your heavy jig, it's got to be like an ounce, go all the way down to the bottom, and then just jig it up and slowly work it up, and then sink it back down, and you just sort of drift and do that. I've had some half decent fish come in that way, and I've also completely failed fishing that way too, so that's fishing. Lawrence, that sounds like a great trip. Whoa. Oh. So my trigger went off here, but I suspect somebody stole my minnow that was on there. Yep. Minnow heist. All right, so I'm going to get another minnow on there. Yeah, I haven't gone to the States since, try to think, my brother for a period was like doing MMA fights. MMA fights in Michigan. So that was the last time I went to the States. Oop. Ah, come on. Sorry, just getting a fresh minnow here. But they're super lively. So it seems like there's a few more fish down there today. Let's see if we can get a few more into the hut here. Whoops. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and hold that rod there instead of putting the trigger on it. Since if it's a big perch, I know they like to just wait till your next minnow comes down and I can grab that. Sorry. My snow pants. I'm sure you guys didn't tune into this broadcast to look at my snow pants. Okay. So just going to read some more messages here. Yeah, you know what? The fish, the walleyes that I've caught this year, most of them been under, most of them been under, but one of them was right in the zone. So I got to keep that guy. And that was delicious. Oop. I'm getting nibbles down here on the left. Let's see if we can... I bet you it's a little wee perch. That's my guess. I've just got a minnow on there and a jig head. Just trying to keep it real simple. And I put the more complex lures on the right side here for more active stuff. Okay, put that lure up for a second. Kyle May, the Owen Sound and surrounding area. Are you saying you ice fish there, or you only fish there when it's the summertime? Because I've always wondered about ice fishing for salmon out in the Owen Sound. I think it's probably only once in a while that there's enough ice to be able to do it. But I always thought that would be really cool. When I left Toronto, I for the last few years before I left, I used to go down to the the mouth of the Humber River there and try to cast for salmon. And just being there when all the salmon were there was just so surreal to see them all jumping and chasing each other around before they went up the river. And that was in the fall or August, I guess. Ooh. No, yeah. I guarantee you it's a micro perch. Wow. That perch isn't half bad, actually. I'd give it at least 8 inches. I think since I already have the other one, I'm probably going to keep this one. If you're going to collect fish for frying, you know. So I'm just going to show you guys this fish and then dispatch them. Oop. Yeah. It's lively. There we go. Another nice perch there. So that's another fish that's going to hit the pan. Get another minnow on here. So far, that Acme flyer and the dead stick minnow are 1-1. I think I had a couple of minnows decide to give up the ghost inside my minnow bucket here and scum it up. It's kind of, water looks a little funky. I did just change it, but I suspect the changing of the water is what caused it to get, or caused some of the minnows to, wrap it up. T Bishop, I don't know if you saw, but so far we got 2 decent perch in the bucket here. Hoping for some more. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to try to manage both rods. Sorry. Oh. Sorry, I'm just going to go through some messages here. Yeah, if I can catch a few more fish in the next few minutes, it'll be good. I'm sure as soon as my son sees these fish, he'll be pretty eager. Oh, looks like we got some fish on the radar here. He's probably gonna ask to eat them. He likes the fish. I remember when I was a kid, no offense to my dad or my mom, but the way they used to like to cook fish was like, just in a pan with a bit of pepper and not much else. And I tell you, once I started figuring out to bread fish and eat it like that, I started liking it a lot more. So it looks like there's somebody, maybe that's my lure. Looks like it's my lure. Yeah, so once I started breading fish, I liked it. My dad was always like, yeah, you gotta taste the fish. It's funny, my dad used to be one of those guys who likes scaling fish. And then we went to one camp, and the camp operator kind of shamed us for scaling the fish. He's like, "You're not scalers, are you?" Yeah, my dad used to have this board where you clamp a fish to it, and this crazy scraper thing you used to scrape the scales off. And these days, we just started filleting them and skinning them, and my dad always jokes about scaling them again. But we're like, the time of scaling is done, Dad. We'll just clean all the fish, the clean way. See, there's definitely some fish moving around down there. Sorry, I'm just gonna get you guys looking at my fish finder again. Yeah, I think if I was a walleye, I'd be like, okay, sun's down, time to start eating up. Like, I'm actually kind of surprised that there's perch biting right now. Guess they got to get in their last snack before they hit the hay, Brad, welcome to the party. It's going good, and it's pretty warm here, actually. I think it might be -1 or -2 now. Yeah, I'd like to catch a 10-pounder. That's for sure. Yeah, I've never caught a 10-pounder, actually. I think there is, Blair. I think there is a restaurant up here that does serve Nipissing walleye. It's, I think one of them is Jocko Point Fish and Chips. Yeah, that's right, Brad. It was such a warm day. At first, I was planning on setting up open air style, my favorite way to fish. But then it was pretty windy out here. So I was like, well, I better, take advantage of this warm weather. So that's why I did it on Thursday instead of Friday. I try to leave it open Thursday or Friday, just so it, some days the schedule works better here and there. And actually, like at first I started doing it on Friday thinking that more people would show up on Friday night for something to do. But it seems like we got about the same amount of people showing up on a Thursday as they would on a Friday, so come on, more fish. Hot garlic powder, eh? That sounds delicious to me. I like it spicy. So let's see what time it is here. So I'll probably be going to 6:20 or so. Thanks a lot there, David, for the suggestion that people hit the like button. Helps a lot. I often forget. Oh, somebody was on the bottom there for a second. Ready to go. Yeah, I've had days here where it's definitely really, really wet on top of the ice and it's brutal. It definitely makes a lot. Sorry, my beard is getting into my mouth there. Yeah, I've had times when I swear there was like 8 to 10 inches of water on the surface of the ice. And it was anybody who didn't have like knee-high boots was out of commission. Okay, I feel like there's a fish coming. What's kind of good about these slab grabber lures, in addition to them being fairly effective, is that they you can grab the lure and know you're not going to hook yourself in the same way that all these free you know what I'm saying. The treble hooks that are flying around like at the end of a vibrato. Once I got a fish on one of these guys, I get very uneasy about my fingers because there's definitely a lot of hooks you can hook yourself with. But the slab grabber there, yeah, I just will grab the lure itself and it's like permanently welded to the lure, so it's pretty sweet like that. Yeah, I didn't bring any beer out here, Brad, unfortunately. All I got is fizzy water. I've heard word that there's some serious perch to be had in Erie. And serious walleye, too. AC DATS 62. We got a lot of rain up here, that's for sure. Lots. It rained. I woke up after my night shift on Tuesday night, and looked at the window, and I was just like, what? Because it was just like rain all over it, like it was a summertime shower. It was heavy duty. The window was just soaked. Sounds like a good combination there, Nick. Red hot, garlic powder, onion powder. Yeah, here's how I like to do it. I like to go garlic, pepper, and then and then like a cup of flour and Parmesan cheese powdered mixed into that. I find that's a delicious combination. Of course, you need some, if you're going to mix it wet, you can fire in some baking powder there and fry it like a cod, you know. But you can also use that as just like a powder coating. Works great. So Darren, you've been out at Sunset Perch, Sunset Point, pardon me, catching the perch. Okay, I'm gonna put on a rattle bait. It's my last hurrah out here. Like I said, I'm gonna go to about 620. So let's see what we got. This one is one of my favorites. You might have heard a sound just now that sounded like a fart, but I can tell you it was not. So never mind. It was just a piece of ice or something on the bucket. All right, putting down small golden rattler, one of my faves. I had a big rattler on earlier today, and let's just say nothing got it, nothing bit it. Too much hot sauce can break down a fish and give it mushy texture, eh? It's always good to know. Seems to me, you know, like, I don't know if any of you guys out there ever eat bullhead catfish. I mean, when you call them mud cats, it doesn't seem that appealing. I find them to be quite delicious. And their meat is nice and light and flaky. And if you play your cards right, you can get yourself a bucket full of catfish. And all you got to do is sit on the dock with a worm on the bottom. I love it. I remember I was staying at Moon River, and the guy told me, the guy running the place, I'm trying to think of his name, probably Dave. I'm probably wrong. Anyway, he was like, just wait until the mosquitoes start biting, and that's around the time when the bullheads come in. He's like, you just sit at the end of the dock with a worm and you'll catch them. And for every night I was staying there, I went out with a bucket, two buckets, one filled with beer, one filled with water, and I'd just catch mudcat after mudcat after mudcat. And by the end of the night, I'd have a bucket full of mudcats. And depending on how much energy I had, I would either re-release the mudcats into the lake or the river where I caught them, or I would decide I was going to eat them, fry them up. Delicious. Right now, Matty C, I'm in the same depth that I was before. I have heard word that they will move shallower heading towards the spring. This whole area is fairly shallow at 18 feet, and even if I went in 200 yards from here, it would be around the same. And then I remember I've tried a few times a lot closer to shore in like 12, 10 feet, and I've had, good luck here and there, and then mostly bad luck though in the spring. Darren, yeah, I heard that guy that was the mayor that was talking about the ice hut prostitution issue. I heard that guy resigned. I don't know. Maybe his concerns were bang on, and just rest of the world hasn't realized it yet. But I really feel like he was coming out of left field with that. Thanks, T. Bishop. Have a great night, buddy. Yeah, I've had the opportunity to eat some channel cats, and they are good too. But definitely mudcats are worth eating. Yeah, maybe if you just refer to them as barbeau when you're serving them to people, or some of their other less modular names, like a bullhead. If you like, how'd you like a platter full of mudcats? He'd probably be like, no thanks. Yeah, maybe his whole aim in making that statement was to, let ice fishermen know, or feel out the ice fishermen to see if there was any true interest in someone running that caliber of business. And then once the whole world lit up, laughing their asses off about it, he's like, all right, time to make my move and start my on ice pimp services. So, guys, it's gotten to 6:21. All right, I'm gonna stay till 6:25. All right, so a couple more minutes. Got to catch 2 more perch here. Let's go. All right. So, at least I caught some fish today. Ruffians on the ice, eh? Well, I got my ice spoon, and that's the oldest piece of ice fishing gear I own. And let's just say I've sent enough fish to the other side with it that it is now pretty haunted on its own right. And if anybody wants to muck with me on the ice, they're gonna have to feel the wrath of my ice spoon, which I'm sure will hurt pretty good. So I'm not too worried about those ruffians out there. Have a good night there, Nick. All right, down to the last minute here. So I'm going to start jigging real hard on both sides. It's going to be just about time to shut this game down. Sean Mark, you made it for the last minute of the broadcast. I heard about one person who ate clams, and he said that he would not advise it. They taste kind of muddy. That's my buddy Marty. Thanks, David Johnson. I'll let you know if I'm ever doing the actual meet and greet idea, because I think that would be fun. So yeah, like next week, I probably suspect that I'm going to be at this other lake. So the signal there is non-existent. So I probably won't be live broadcasting next week, but you never know. I will let you know for sure, at least the day of. I mean, you can always look on Friday and see if I'm going to live stream then. I may or may not. Anyway, thanks everybody for coming. Thanks for being here while I caught those perch. And hope everybody has a fantastic night. And Darren, you can have fun eating some muddy clams. We'll talk to you guys later.